This video is going to cover everything that you need to know about breeding, and I'm going to include a link to a website so that you can get your breeding combinations. Basically, what we're gonna do, we're gonna build a breeding farm. The breeding farm can be unlocked at level 19. And basically the way that this works is you need a male and a female pal. And in order to make them do their thing, you need cake. I happen to have a lot of cake, actually, because I've been making it. But I figured that in this, I would include the how to make sure that you always have cake tutorial. So basically, all you're going to need is a chickpea, which can be found in the starting area, or pretty much, I mean, I can't say anywhere, but like the low level areas have chickpeas in them. You need a bee guard, which can only be found right here. And you need a Mazarina. Where you at, cow? And that is right here. So once you have all three of those, what you do is you take them and you put them in your base. So I think here's one. You pick him up. It's nighttime, so he's trying to go to sleep, but you assign him to your ranch. You get yourself a bee guard. Throw her in. Assign her to the ranch. Then you get yourself a chickpea. I happen to have a shiny one, so I think I'm going to use that. Take him up. Assign him to the ranch. Now that you have these three, what you need to do is you need to place your feed. Like, it's just a good idea in general to put your feed box next to your ranch. And the reason why is because what's going to happen is they're going to produce food items, right? And as your base is going, they'll naturally take food items to the feed box because that's just how the game works. Maybe they're hungry, I don't know. But so they'll automatically take things over to this feed box. And when they do that, that means you just need to check intermittently for the milk, the honey, and there weren't any eggs in there, I guess. But you pick those up and you take them to your fridge. So that's just 3 of the 5 ingredients needed to make cake. Cake requires flour and red berries. So in order to make sure that you get enough flour and red berries going, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have red berry farms. I have 4, which is too many, but I know I'll never run out, so it's okay. And you want to make sure you have a wheat farm. The wheat farm is unlocked at level 15. So wheat and berries are necessary. So in order to get flour, you need to take your wheat over to the crusher, or the mill, and with a watering pal, you can make as much flour as you want, but you just need to make sure that you have a wheat farm in order to do that. Let's do it. So basically, I just always have a pot filled with cake being made, which is why I have 121. Let's talk about the breeding farm itself. So what happens is when the pals go in here, I don't know if it's a set amount of time required or if it changes based on the pals that you pick, but they just kind of hang out in here and then eventually they produce eggs. the thing that's most important about breeding isn't necessarily what the combinations create, because I'm pretty sure that you can discover any of the combinations that you can get out of this in the actual world itself. The important part is this will be the best way for you to get the passives that you want on your pals. So this right here, all of these eggs that are in here right now are kind of the remnants of Pirin Nacht farm, where we were trying to get a perfect roll on our Pirin Nacht. So we kind of just started with random ones that we picked up in the world, and it did take a long time, but what I've managed to get is a musclehead, ferocious, aggressive, hooligan Pirin Nacht, which I believe is the god roll for attack. This has an extra 75% attack on it. Basically, the way that it works is if you have one with a trait that you want. So this is a ferocious. Ferocious isn't a bad trait to have, specifically if you're using this as something that you're going to have normally in your party, and if you're riding it because it's the fastest ground mount in the game, to my knowledge, then of course you're going to want it to be able to do real damage. So if you get one that has ferocious or musclehead on it, then what you can do is you can take this guy, throw him in here. So this one is a female. So if I wanted to make sure that I was locking that in, you're going to be more likely to get your hands on the trait you're looking for if you have one with a matching trait. So if I were to take this ferocious musclehead and put it in there, I would most likely end up with more that have ferocious, and then kind of a good likelihood that they'll have ferocious and musclehead, just because double ferocious and one musclehead. And then as they get more refined, right, you'll end up with, I had this one. It was a ferocious musclehead aggressive. And so after a while, we ended up with 2 ferocious musclehead aggressives, and they were mating until eventually I ended up with this one right here. So happy breeding. And if you like the video, please leave a like, possibly subscribe. And don't forget to leave a comment of any of the combinations that you've had or any of the things that you've produced via this method. I will be leaving a link down in the description below to the website where you can see all of the combinations in order to get the things that you want. And it also fully describes the breeding process. Have a wonderful day, you guys.